Frederick Douglass was an American social reformer, abolitionist, orator, writer, and statesman. After escaping from slavery in Maryland, he became a national leader of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts and New York, becoming famous for his oratory and incisive anti-slavery writings. He rose to fame with the 1845 publication of his first book, The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, written by himself. He fought throughout most of his career for the abolition of slavery and worked with notable abolitionists like William Lloyd Garrison and Gerrit Smith. Born February 1818, Talbot County, Maryland, United States. Died February 20, 1895, Washington, D.C., United States. Education means emancipation. It means light and liberty. It means the uplifting of the soul of man into the glorious light of truth, the light by which man can only be made free. There is not a man beneath the canopy of heaven that does not know that slavery is wrong for him. The songs of the slave represent the sorrows of his heart. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. It is just as criminal to rob a man of his right to speak and hear as it would be to rob him of his money. My long crushed spirit rose, cowardice departed, bold defiance took its place, and I now resolved that, however long I might remain a slave in form, the day had passed forever when I could be a slave in fact. To enslave men, successfully and safely, it is necessary to have their minds occupied with thoughts and aspirations short of the liberty of which they are deprived. A certain degree of attainable good must be kept before them. Man's greatness consists in his ability to do and the proper application of his powers to things needed to be done. Poets, prophets and reformers are all picture makers, and this ability is the secret of their power and of their achievements. They see what ought to be by the reflection of what is, and endeavor to remove the contradiction. They suppress the truth rather than take the consequence of telling it, and in so doing prove themselves a part of the human family. Inaction is followed by stagnation. Stagnation is followed by pestilence, and pestilence is followed by death. In studying the character and works of a great man, it is always desirable to learn in what he is distinguished from others, and what have been the causes of this difference. For no man who lives at all lives unto himself. He either helps or hinders all who are in any wise connected to him. You are not judged by the height you have risen, but from the depth you have climbed. Slavery is indeed gone, but its shadow still lingers over the country and poisons more or less the moral atmosphere of all sections of the Republic. They are thought pictures, the outstanding headlands of the meandering shores of life, and are points to steer by on the broad sea of thought and experience. The body forth in living forms and color the ever-varying lights and shadows of the soul. Once you learn to read, you will be forever free. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false, and to incur my own abhorrence. Where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel that society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob and degrade them, neither persons nor property will be safe. I prayed for freedom for 20 years, but received no answer until I prayed with my legs. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. Without a struggle, there can be no progress. The white man's happiness cannot be purchased by the black man's misery. Slaves are generally expected to sing as well as to work. People might not get all they work for in this world, but they must certainly work for all they get. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. I would unite with anybody to do right and with nobody to do wrong. It is not light that we need, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, and the earthquake. Slaves sing most when they are most unhappy. The songs of the slave represent the sorrows of his heart, and he is relieved by them, only as an aching heart is relieved by its tears. No man can put a chain about the ankle of his fellow man without at last finding the other end fastened about his own neck. A gentleman will not insult me, and no man not a gentleman can insult me. In a composite nation like ours, as before the law, there should be no rich, no poor, no high, no low, no white, no black, but common country, common citizenship, equal rights, and a common destiny. Those who profess to favor freedom, and yet deprecate agitation, are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. The relation between the white and colored people of this country is the great, paramount, imperative, and all-commanding question for this age and nation to solve. Men talk of the Negro problem. There is no Negro problem. The problem is whether the American people have honesty enough, loyalty enough, honor enough, patriotism enough to live up to their Constitution. Who would be free themselves must strike the blow. I urge you to fly to arms and smite to death the power that would bury the government and your liberty in the same hopeless grave. This is your golden opportunity. I will give Mr. Freeland the credit of being the best master I ever had, till I became my own master. Right is of no sex, truth is of no color, God is the Father of us all, and we are all brethren. Immense wealth, and its lavish expenditure, fill the great house with all that can please the eye, or tempt the taste. Here, appetite, not food, is the great desideratum. What upon earth is the matter with the American people? Do they really covet the world's ridicule as well as their own social and political ruin? If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom, and deprecate agitation, are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning.